Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. Today I want to talk a little bit about a news story that just came out about Tesla canceling the range extender for the Cybertruck. And this is the message that many people that have had orders for the range extender have recently received. And it says that Tesla is no longer planning to sell the range extender on the Cybertruck and that full refunds will be issued. Now, if you remember back at the delivery event, one of the big things was the range of the Cybertruck. It fell a lot shorter than what was originally promised. And Tesla at that event unveiled the range extender, and this is what it looked like, kind of a toolbox that took up a part of the bed. It was $16,000 and you had to be on a wait list. And I'll tell you, while I was at the event filming this particular video, I could hear a lot of rumors and murmurs around the audience talking about how that range extender really was not the solution that they were looking for. And after about a year and also about a month ago, removing that option from the website, it looks like that is no longer available. So what does that mean? I don't really know, but I'm hoping that this means that Tesla has realized that this was not a viable solution and that they're going to be concentrating more on battery production and doing some of these things that you see on the screen, which is either improving the cell chemistry, advanced manufacturing, optimizing the pack design, thermal management, or increasing the cell voltage to try to increase the amount of energy density within the battery packs that exist. But otherwise, right now it looks like the Cybertruck the range is about what it's going to be, and there's a lot of questions about what this means amongst the Tesla community. So if you hadn't heard about it, I thought I would point that out here in this video. So rather than ending in kind of a downer on the intro, I wanted to show you some fun things that have been going on here at Giga-Texas from the Exotics Network and filmed by iSky Films. Just in front of the main entrance on the highway, about 200 supercars drove by. They were escorted by multiple helicopters, as you can tell, and they were on their way to the Circuit of the Americas for a large event. And you don't see this very often at Giga-Texas, so I thought I would share, and I think it's pretty cool. So now that you're updated with Cybertruck news and also supercar drive-bys of Giga-Texas, let's get to the drone, fly around, and see what the site looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description.
If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Good early morning here at Giga-Texas. I came as early as I could because I have another event later today. So the video will probably be coming out a little later than normal, but I decided that I would try with this light to see inside the third floor along this side of General Assembly, just to see the progress with setting up some of the production lines and on top of those mezzanines. And you can see what it looks like right now. Still a lot of plastic wrap, some of the machinery here on the foreground, but we do see some equipment, and through the walls we can see where some of the production lines are being set up. I kind of bring the drone up a little higher. We can look on the top of the mezzanine what it is looking like right now with the various equipment and some of the assembly that you can see here in the top of the screen. Also on the bottom of the screen, we saw some silver wrapped items that looked a lot like robotic assemblers on the far wall. As we continue to fly along here, passing one of the kind of staircases, we can see more equipment being installed on the inside. I'll kind of turn and look through this open section, and it looks like mostly just man lifts and some other equipment. It's really hard to tell. Because the lighting was really starting to get to the point where looking through really didn't help, I thought I would just stop there, and we'll instead look at what is going on here with some cleaning near the west main entrance. This nice display next to the base of the flagpoles, and just generally how this part of the site looks. Now we're going to continue to fly to the south. I wanted to take a look at the work that is being done where that temporary platform used to be. Most of the windows have been now cleaned off that was underneath that platform. There is one kind of plywood panel that needs to have the glass replaced, and it's possible that it's on that stand on the right of the screen along with some other glass that's going to go on the top part. We can see where that concrete wall panel has been installed, and the work is underway to repair, I think, that concrete panel so they can put the rest of the windows in. All of the windows on this kind of funnel section have been completed, and we can see inside now where there are some rack mounts and some other equipment on the inside. We also can tell on this drive path, there's a lot of porta potties through here. So that may suggest that because of the trench work that we see on the west berm, and they're doing some more work with that kind of treated water or sewage water pipes, maybe they're still having some problems inside the factory with some of the running water. So that may be why that is the case. I don't know, but it is interesting to see all of those there. On the southwest corner, we can tell that they still have this framework here, but haven't put much more on the exterior. Soon it's going to be filled in. And while we have the chance, I'm looking through inside. We can tell there's more equipment, more materials laid out on the floor. Looks like some plywood sections in the middle of the screen, and just the rest of the interior of this part of the factory. Now, there is a permit that I have seen that talks about steel work inside this part of the factory related to headquarters offices. I'll try to get more information on that for the next video. In fact, there's a lot of different permits that are coming out that we'll talk about in this video at the appropriate point in the video itself. But I'll do a better and a more detailed coverage of those permits in a future video. As we work around the south end, working our way over towards where that cooler plant is, we can see that 4 of the 6 fan units appear to be operational this morning. Those are the 4 on the south end. And otherwise, this is what is looking like on that plant today. And the temporary platform on the left, looks like there's some equipment that has been kind of arrayed around the base of the platform itself. Maybe that's going to be put up onto that second floor. Some nice views through the inside and what's going on with some scaffolding next to that kind of mezzanine and that small room. And also we can tell that there's that trenching that we saw underway on the previous video just to the north of the platform, and it has now turned towards the east, and it's working its way over towards the cooling plant. And there's a nice top-down view of that trench work and where it is proceeding. Now I'm just going to follow along with the drone looking down, and we'll see where it kind of terminates over where that excavator is in operation right now. The new asphalt is evident, but it's already starting to show signs of use, and that's near where we see some more of that excavation work. And it looks like that pipe's going to go over here and connect to that platform underneath the cooling towers at some point. So I'll bring the drone back up, and we'll kind of take a look around the east side of the stamping machine section and work our way around over towards the parking garage. no activity on the roof of the parking garage today, but we do see these trailers with a lot more vehicles. So that is definitely still very busy. More of the materials on the right-hand side of the screen. And then here at the former testing and calibration lot, not really anything going on the south side, which is where they would have new vehicles. No change with those kind of tent-like structures next to the superchargers either. But this is a nice look at the materials that are still being stored here. Most likely going to be used, at least some of it, in the south end of the extension, and others that look like it's for stormwater pipe at some point in this area. The privacy fence on the east side ground floor of the parking garage has not changed, and the kind of shops that you see here along the extension of River Road looks like some of it has been dismantled. There's still some crates with glass, or at least what was holding glass. And there's a kind of a yard truck with a crate on top of it as well. So continue to watch this to see what they're going to be doing. I know that there's more glass that needs to be installed on the southeast corner where that temporary platform is by the cooling plant. So perhaps they are stockpiling that, and then when the time is right, they can install that. But here's a nice view along the Colorado River looking to the west over towards that west support facility, and then downtown Austin in the background. And with the lighting that the sun coming up this morning, this is a great view all the way across over to downtown. And this is kind of a look back at the factory from the south to the north over the cyber pond. And I'll continue to maneuver the drone around here so we get a look at what the activity looks like. And then I think I'm going to turn back towards the west, and we'll get ready to cross over the highway and take a look at the activity on that side today. Crews continue to maneuver these concrete pipe segments and preparing for more of them to be lifted down into the caisson, and at the bottom is where that tunnel boring machine has been drilling underneath the Colorado River, and they continue to put these concrete liners in and then with hydraulic rams force it into that tunnel. I've had a viewer ask me again, what are the caissons for? That is part of the water intercept system, and as per the permit is to increase the overall water management system, expecting further growth in this area. The current system is not good enough. That's why they're adding all of those caissons in. Here's a nice view of the Cyber tunnel today. Very shiny with that stainless steel. I did not see any Cybertrucks coming out of it today, but then again, this is a kind of a non-production day. There were a few just driving on the roads, but I would really not expect to see too many going through that Cyber tunnel today. While I'm here and taking advantage of the nice lighting, wanted to look at what was going on in this material staging yard. It's not only seeing some of the steel, but the biggest thing that I'm interested in is what is going on with the transformers. Now, in my previous video, we saw a lot of them being delivered. You can tell that they are here on the ground. So the overall number of transformers here continues to seem to be growing. And we'll also see another set of transformers just to the north of here also growing with more of them. So that is definitely an interesting development to be watching. This is what this far southwest corner clearing looks like. More dirt being stockpiled and just mostly moving dirt around at this point in time. I haven't seen any definitive construction or a direction towards construction on that site for quite some time. As we look to the north along the material staging yard here, just most of it that is in the center of the screen is production equipment waiting for its turn to be moved into the factory. The superchargers that are mobile have been moved down at the bottom of the screen as we pass over these brown wrapped items, which I believe is a stamping press. None of that has really changed in a while. More of the deliveries on the left in those crates. And here, as we get closer to the transformers. As I mentioned, they have delivered more of them, and this is what it looks like here today. I did not do a count, but it looks like there's a mix of different kinds, perhaps different manufacturers in that area. The purpose of all those transformers at Giga-Texas, I really still do not know, but I will continue to monitor that, and hopefully we'll get an answer soon. This is what the outbound lot looks like today, and over the weekend we're going to see most of those vehicles transported off the lot and off towards new customers. I'm going to try to maneuver around here over the tents and the superchargers and along the roof section of the end of line over the test track, and we'll take a look at some developments with Cybertrucks on this side. And in addition to the Cybertruck grouping, which you'll see in the upper part of the screen, we see many more of the Model Ys stockpiled here waiting for their turn for transport. Looking at these Cybertrucks, almost all of these appear to be either Cyber Beasts or all-wheel drive versions. There is at least one that may be a rear-wheel drive directly ahead. It's hard to tell. I didn't get a chance to really linger too much, but most of those rear-wheel drive units were moved off-site several days ago, and I haven't seen a whole lot of them yet. Maybe they're going to be using those for test drives or for qualification testing, perhaps with some of the regulatory governing bodies, but it's just a guess on my part. I'm not really sure, but I'll continue to watch and see what they're doing with long-range rear-wheel drive Cybertruck production. This material staging yard at a lower altitude just shows us some of these red and white items here that is normally used for production within the factory, and then a lot of other materials just being stockpiled. Now, as we cross over the road and we see this kind of workshop area that is used for welding, we can also see all of those Evapco fan units and base units and all the associated equipment. Still have not seen any movement of this, and I don't know where this is eventually going to be installed, but they have been here a long time, so I'm hoping to see those move soon. As we pass over all of the steel items and approach this clearing, I was able to get a permit that tells us that this is for a welcome center, and I will put that up here on the screen here in a moment for us to take a look at, but this is the current work, and there's that permit. You can see that welcome center, its code number is WCT8. The submittal date was very recently. The approval date was just a couple weeks ago, and that may explain why we saw the slow action for a little while and then resumed work here on the grading. Now, they are kind of preparing this north section in the middle of the screen. There are some stakes, and it looks like that bulldozer is moving some of the dirt around, possibly to that area, or at least helping to increase the grade. We also see a lot of geotextile membranes have been laid out and fill dirt put on top of it. That geotextile membrane is generally used to strengthen the soil and to make it more suitable for construction. And we've seen that all throughout Giga-Texas throughout the last 5 years. So I think that's a great sign, again, that construction is coming here. And with the permit now talking about the Welcome Center, I think that's even more good news, and it helps validate what I have been hearing on the site for the last couple of months. You can see those stakes on the left, some are kind of pinkish flags on them, and then here it looks like they're starting to bring in some fill dirt to increase the grade across this section. So I'll continue to monitor that. And one other thing I noticed before we go to the factory is here's yet another transformer being delivered today. I have seen several of these trucks with those transformers arriving, and they're all going to those sites on the far west side that we saw earlier in the video. Crews continue to work on the berm with trenching, installing both some electrical conduit, but also that large pipe. In fact, as I maneuver the drone here a little bit closer to the action, you'll see one of the pipes wrapped in that plastic kind of pink, purplish material being prepared for movement over into the trench. and then this will be installed, and they're going to continue to work towards the south as they make more trenching and increase the length of the pipe. So again, I'll continue to monitor that development. This new platform, it looks like the door has been closed on the top, so not really a whole lot of activity here to speak of today. So instead, I thought I would fly up to the north, take a look at this entranceway with the concrete planters, some of the landscaping, and it looks like they're doing some additional planters and landscaping around this entrance for the employees. As we continue to fly towards the north, we do see some more of the 4680 cans in that blue bin prepared for recycling. I've had some viewers ask, why are they having to recycle so many? And I don't have a direct answer for you on that, but it could be either testing out lines, doing new work with new equipment, or maybe they're just having some reject rates. I don't know, but it is an interesting question. We just passed over more solar panels that have been stockpiled on that repaired section of the roof. This section that had been pressure washed, still do not see any change, so I'm not sure what the plan is for that section or why they made that cleaning effort there. At the north end of the 4680s, this is kind of what it looks like. There's not a lot of equipment or activity at the moment on the outside to speak of, but I'll continue to monitor that. Along the north face of the paint shop, we see more of the stands with the paint blanks that are used for the bumpers for the Model Y. And we see a lot more other stands, and they may be either for recycling of the old stands, or maybe they're going to be making more of those stands for the Model Y. But in any case, they still have a lot of those on that north side. This is a good view of the front on the right and rear on the left Cybertruck castings in those racking systems and how they look. If you compare and contrast that to some of the castings we'll see in a moment, you can tell that they are very different, and the Cybercabs not only look different, but they are much smaller. As we fly over towards the casting machine structure area, a few things of note. One, more of the items for what I believe is a Gigapress on the ground still waiting to be installed. We see these kind of square-ish bundles. This is scrap aluminum that the machine on the top right has been compacting in this bin. Looks like there's more of that getting ready to be compacted. You see some stored on the right next to some of the trimmed pieces of the castings. And then near there is aluminum wheels, and then we see more of them being prepared for movement inside. So it's possible that they need it in that shape because it makes it easier for the furnace to melt them down. This is showing those racks with the Cybercab front and rear subframe castings. The fronts are on the ground here, and the rack mounts are some of the rear subframes. And then farther up at the top left are the Model Y castings that are being stored in those rack mounts. Here's a close view of the baghouse filtration plant and some of the work on the upper sections of it. And I have been hearing some people have been noticing on either mine or Brad's videos that there has been some kind of heat coming out of that top vent stack. So perhaps that means that the baghouse filtration plant is at least in some degree operational. So as I maneuver around the power lines and come back to take a look at the east side of casting, that is what it looks like today. And a good, nice shot of the downtown Austin in the upper left of the screen. I also wanted to, while I was here, come back over and take a look at these trailers that have been added into the parking lot. These are the Aries trailers, and what you're seeing here are building permits that talk about the purpose of all of these trailers. They're new hire orientation, bookable training trailers, and also mailroom teamwear trailers. This in office trailers, this is pretty much confirming now that these are being put in here to allow the temporary trailers that you see just on the other side of Tesla Road to be relocated. So all the functions that are going on here will be relocated further to the south, and then they'll be able to move these away to allow more of this construction effort to continue throughout this entire area. So hopefully the fact that I found some permits for that you find helpful and kind of corroborates what I have been saying for the last couple of videos. While we are here, we'll take a quick look at Megapack 2. It does not look like there's a lot of active work at the moment that I was flying my drone, but I was also pretty early in the morning, so they'll probably be back at work installing more of the wires to connect the Megapacks to the transformers. A lot of them on the left-hand side of the screen look to be completed, but the one on the right-hand side of the screen have yet to have those cables installed. And here's a pretty good shot of the difference between the left and the right. As I bring the drone back up to a higher altitude, we'll just quickly look at the earthwork that is underway here on this section. This is where they are preparing to widen and extend the switch yard, and it will eventually be doubled in size from what you see currently at the top of the screen. Right now it looks like they are doing some excavation work along where one of the drainage pipes is located. Now this is directly under where that switch yard would be, so they may have to relocate that pipe to allow for that construction. But again, that'll be something I continue to monitor. A nice look back towards the main factory and what the kind of the electrical system and megapacks look like on this part of the site today. Giving you a nice overall view of the construction site, some of the water from the recent rains, and how this entire area is continuing to transform. We do see that the cranes are active today, at least one of them moving materials up to the steel workers to assemble more of the beams onto the roof. The other one is being used to locate some of the materials closer to the footings and preparing that for assembly. Speaking of footings, we do see workers busy with the next couple of rows of the footings themselves. In fact, almost all of them appear to have had the concrete poured, and it looks like maybe they're starting to remove some of that framework. And as I look across the entire site, you can tell the perimeter grade beam. Also, as I zoom in, this is a great view of that work that is going on with the footings, and those kind of items sticking up out of the center of the footings is where the columns will be attached. And when you see the columns, you'll see like the base plates, and that is how they start that vertical assembly. But as I was saying, you can see the whole perimeter grade beam outlining the building, and the footing work is just about completed. It looks like there's maybe 2 more rows in the middle, maybe 3 more rows. I don't know. We'll have to see. That may need some additional work, or they may just be flooded with that brown material, the water on them. But otherwise, most of the footing work is just about completed. And here's a nice kind of side view of the entire site, and some of the materials that are still waiting for that assembly, what the roof section is looking like, and also kind of has this inset section. I think that will eventually be filled in. I'm not sure why they assembled it the way they did, but we'll keep watching that. A lot of roof decking has been installed. Maybe about 25% of the building roof decking has been placed so far. And as I continue to maneuver the drone and get a little bit lower, this gives you a better idea of what the structure looks like on the completed section. And we see those upside down V's kind of cross bracing, and that's to help with the strength of the structure itself. So I'm going to reposition the drone again further to the east, and we'll take a look at what is going on that side of the site. As you can tell, the east side continues to be busy with some of the concrete trucks, workshops, trailers, and materials. And as time goes on, I would expect to see that continuing to clear out. And as I've mentioned before, all of that site will be ready for some sort of construction, and it'll be really interesting to see what Tesla ends up doing. As I bring the drone down here, we're just taking a look at some of the items being stored in this section where eventually Tesla Road will be widened and extended through towards the east. And here's a nice view through the alleyway, some of the large tanks, vaporizers, and some materials. I did notice that some of the vaporizers here have the condensation on them, which shows that they are in the process of being operational. And what that does is it takes the cryogenic nitrogen and it kind of flashes it into vapor, and then the vapors are what are used within the cathode building for the production of cathodes. You can see all 4 of those fan units working. On the north end of the die shop, more materials have been delivered, and I think that's all related to the work that they're doing on the inside, where we have seen in the past work to increase the slab in the middle section of the building, probably for more equipment, but I have not been able to see inside in a while, so I don't know what the situation is within the die shop, although there is a new permit, which we will discuss in the future about what is going on there, and maybe that'll give us some more ideas. So anyway, I'll pull up to a higher altitude, fly up to the northeast, and kind of give you an overall view of the entire site, all the areas that we were able to see today. Also, some of that earthwork that is continuing at the bottom of the screen, the rental equipment lot and maintenance area that is coming into view, and some of the fields with materials on the right-hand side of the screen. Also, a great view back to the factory to see how far away we are. So anyway, that'll end it for today. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.